Before we begin this video, I would like to take a quick moment in order to shout out the newest ponytuber on the block. None other than my good friend, the Blue EM2. Right now, he's starting a YouTube channel of his own dedicated to music video edits and G5 theories, so you definitely do not want to miss out on that. It would mean the world to me if you would subscribe to his channel and support his content. I've seen a few of his videos myself, and I gotta say, they are amazing. Top-notch editing, really. He's also working on a big project of his own, just like me, tapping his ultimate theory video on how and why Equestria fell and became what it is now. If that sort of stuff is right up your alley, then his channel is for you. So what are you waiting for? The link to Blue's channel shall be in the description and pinned comment. With that being said, on with the show. Hello everybody, my name is Nightwing, the most unapologetic Defender G5 you'll ever meet, and it's time to review another Tired Tale episode. This installment involves the breezy night market, and promises to be a fresh take on a familiar premise. So did it deliver? Let's find out. Before we begin, if you are new here and you are not subscribed to the channel, then what are you waiting for? We analysts appear to be a dying breed at the fandom, as mindless hate videos are all the rage now. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more, then feel free to slam that like button and subscribe to the channel for more amazing pony content just like this. YouTube's algorithm works in mysterious ways. Small contributions like this make a huge difference in helping me grow. This is my review of the 62nd episode of Tired Tale, Nightmare Market. So the episode begins with the main five and Misty exploring the breezy night market, again during the Nightmare Night season. Tagging along with them is Alphabittle, who still can't help himself from babying Misty a little too much. While checking out a glitter stand, our ponies are accidentally transformed into fillies once again. So it's up to Alphabittle to put his parental instincts into high gear and undo the adorable madness before it's too late. But can he do all that while reconciling his feelings on having missed out on his daughter's entire life? I mean, you all know the answer, so why are you looking at me? So, what do I think of the episode? I actually really liked it. I mean, yeah, it clearly deals with the familiar the main five turn into fillies plot, but I actually like this a lot more than making a fool out of me. Simply because there's a lot more heart put into it. There's a lot more to the story than simply, look at the main five as fillies, isn't that adorable? And that extra heart put into it is, of course, Misty and Alphabittle. This is, by all intents and purposes, an Alphabittle episode. Best dad gets all the limelight here, and I for one am all for it. Seeing Alfie having to kick his parental instincts into high gear in order to catch the runaway main five is just so cute. And I especially got a good laugh out of the part where he says, "I am too old for this!" Yeah, you probably are, man, but don't worry, the exercise is good for you. You probably didn't realize that everything around him is magical, and he probably should have kept a closer eye on the main five just to be sure they didn't get into anything. We get to see him think on his hooves and think of solutions on the spot, which really adds to the comedic element and quick timing. The parts where he has to chase after the main five and deal with their antics is just absolutely hilarious. And the facial expressions during it. Oh boy, the facial expressions. Why haven't these faces become meme material yet? Do I have to do the work of an entire fandom all by myself? Probably. It goes to show his determination, how he thinks quickly during tough situations. The emotional parts for me, however, make this episode. They really come in whenever he sees Misty as a filly, and he has short moments of second thoughts. Whenever he sees her, he's reminded of the childhood he missed out on with her. When he first sees her as a filly once again, he's momentarily overcome with emotion because at that moment, he realizes that he finally has his baby girl back. We even get a short flashback with her on the swing near the end. In those moments, we see that he has temptations of just leaving Misty as a filly so he can recapture that childhood with her. He never got to see her grow up and never got to be involved with her life at all, and he just wants to do that more than anything. He knows now that he has a chance to run away with Misty and start their lives afresh, but he ultimately chooses not to do that, because he knows that would be wrong. The episode really does well to give Alphabittle a sense of closure, especially towards the end. When he looks at Filly Misty and says that,
"My little filly, you're just like I remember you."
He finally takes the time to say goodbye to the filly he once knew. He never got to share his life with her, but in that moment, he finally gets to. And though he has temptations, he has the maturity to realize that living in the past would be wrong, and he takes his own daughter's prior words to heart about accepting her for who she is. This was a great short scene, and as I said, it really does well in giving Alphabittle a sense of closure after all the grief and pain he internalized over a decade. And also, the resolution is actually hinted at the beginning, where Alphabittle accidentally embarrasses Misty by giving her the cotton candy and stuffed animal. It's a short moment, but one that symbolizes Alphabittle still has a lot to learn. Losing Misty was hard, but through the whole Philly ordeal, he learns to let go of that grief and fully move forward with his life. He had the chance to see his baby grow one last time. But now, it's time to let her grow up. He can't keep holding on to the life he once knew, because he knows it'll only harm him more in the long run. Misty is happiest when she's doing what she wants to do, and Alphabittle knows this all too well. Through this experience, he learns to let the Philly he once knew go, and embrace who Misty is now. Even though he missed out on an entire childhood with her, he knows it's not too late to recapture that father-daughter bond. But it can only be achieved by focusing on the present rather than living in the past. Alphabittle really is the best parental figure we've seen in G5 so far, because he's the most developed. We see him go through the full spectrum of emotions, from grief to joy, from too proud to remorseful, and from remorseful to acceptance, and emerge from it all as a better pony. His inclusion in the story was a smart choice, because it really adds so much to what's going on. In the midst of all the comedic chaos, there's actual heart and emotion, and that's something all Telltale episodes strive to be at their best. Have the established comedic tone, but don't be afraid to put a moral lesson in there, as that's what makes these episodes worth watching. So what else is there to this episode? Well, the Philly main fight's antics are definitely comedic gold. Philly Sunny's getting to her usual mischievous antics, and dare I say, blasting off again! Philly Zip is jumping around buildings and pretending to fly. Philly Pip becomes this hybrid pony dragon thing, breathing fire all over the place. Philly Izzy is jumping into glitter and dyeing her hair rainbow. Now I see this point behind that toy. Philly Misty is floating in the air and with a witch hat, just so much stuff. Plus, Sparky being the concerned adult to a baby Hitch, which the role reversal is funny in itself, you can't lie. There's a lot of mayhem going on at once, and it just puts a smile on your face when watching. Add to that, Opaline also shows up. At first I thought it was one of her usual one-off antics, but she actually means business this time, and she accomplishes her goal once again by stealing Onyx's cutie mark. Opaline progressing the plot and tell your tale? Who would have thought? In your face, Ovis, I was right about Opaline being a company antagonist all along. I honestly didn't expect her to show up, so seeing her do just that was a welcome surprise. This goes far beyond her usual appearances in the series, and she actually contributes to the story and gets stuff done. It seems like even in Tell Your Tale now, the plot is constantly moving, so you can tell the writers have learned from previous installments. I, for one, love where this new slate is going, and it makes me more excited to review each episode. It also makes me wonder what she's planning on doing with all the cutie marks once she's finished. Perhaps using each of the together trees to re-enter Equestria and breaking Twilight's cloaking spell? Only time will tell. But to close off, this was a strong episode. I'm usually not one to like retreading old ground. I mean, if you've seen the last 2 seasons of FIM, you know that most repeat stories end up being much, much worse. But I was pleasantly surprised by this entry into the series. The emotional core of Alphabittle and its evolving relationship with Misty breathed so much life into what would otherwise be a stale and unoriginal premise. And the inclusion of Opaline, which progresses the plot significantly, also helps to differentiate the story from the previous one, and that everything is so much more involved this time. It's certainly an episode I look forward to rewatching again sometime soon. But what do you all think? Is this episode better than making a fool out of me? What do you think of Alphabittle having its first standalone episode? Don't forget to let me know in the comments below. With that being said, this is Nightwing signing off until next time. Hoof to heart.